So before I start the video, I'll probably put this in the video. People wanted to see some decorations in Butch's garage since it took me, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 years of buying cars and auctions and such. So I'll be just doing small little inserts of funny things I bought over the years that are in the garage that you see at auto shops, and of all the decades of me buying useless junk at auctions and estate sales and or stuff I found in cars. So I'll be posting it, and let's go on to the actual show. +20 years. Of course, when I bought it, the guy told me, it's only been sitting for like 5 years. Well, the emission sticker is back from like '01. So this is what you get when you get a Mercedes that's been sitting for about 2 decades. And they are not worth restoring. They just are not worth it. Every hose is rotten. The interior's trashed. I mean, I just looked at a 72 a couple weeks ago and it looked like this, and the guy was trying to get a bunch of money for it. And said, it's good restoration. Yeah, if you want to dump maybe 15, 20 grand in it. So you can see the color, what it looks like in the sun, and the original color. Beautiful green. So 72 is a little unique too, because this engine's basically carrying over from the 72 to 73, the injection. And this actually has a computer in it. It's crazy. It has like a computer. I'll pull it out later when I do another video. This engine, a little different too on the 74 is the 72 actually had a separate oil cooler that was attached right here onto the radiator. Kind of a little unique addition. The problem with the 72, 73, 71, 72, 73 is they were ungodly expensive. Mercedes started streamlining the process to make it a little cheaper here. I mean, they did some interesting things on the 72 where they even had like a metal coolant tank, and you'll see some other things they changed out that were just for this. So this obviously doesn't have any emission systems on it yet in 74, so this is why these are still somewhat desired. The 74, 75 is just because you can get by that emissions requirement. We definitely have a little bit of a, what do we call this, lightweight model here. Pretty common. They didn't use the best metal in these early years. Also, they didn't do much protection. Later models, they put some rubber coverings in here, a lot better rust proofing. So these are the standard 14-inch bunts. Many of these had like hubcaps on them. This actually had some aftermarket called Centeras on it that I'm actually refinishing and going to sell up. Another thing interesting on these early models, early meaning pre-74, is they actually have different moldings on the door here. They're actually shorter. So if you try to put these on like a later model, they don't match up right. So this door is a little different, which then coincides with the whole door panel is a little different, on this early model. So they definitely, this was the mean green model. Definitely some green going on here. Instead of triple black, I think this was triple green. Pretty common. Seats, held up okay. I think these aren't even these might have been refinished. I don't know. I guess so. So these are a little unique too, that these earlier models have what's called these cat eye headrests. Kind of a desired better look than the flat ones like the 560s have. Common, these dashes all get cracks, and I tried to put some putty in there, all the foot colors. Pretty simple climate control. That's it. You got some manual. It's interesting, this radio actually works. It's pretty interesting. Let's see if the key works here. Wow, listen to that. Woo-hoo! So these are quite rare models to still work. Becker, it's called a Corona 2. So that's a big plus having it work. Other than that, the interior, it's all worn there from just age. So here's actually what the color. So it looks like it must have had the hard top on the last few years, because this is what the paint actually looked like. It wasn't that bad. So let's the inside, really very similar to all the other models. It just has what's miles on, like 100,000 miles, which is low, but these cars, it's dead, unfortunately. There's no way this car is worth restoring. It's going into I call it the Deutschland graveyard. pretty typical. The headrests were the same. Even the hardtop was the same. Windows are the same on pretty much all these models. This lower panel there is the same. Glove box, pretty typical. But look at that, I got a little flashlight in there. That's kind of a cool model, cool addition. These are nice to have. These little, those are nice to have for the hardtop. A lot of people lose those. I'm actually parting this out, so I'll be probably anything is somewhat decent. I'll you know, put on eBay. The let's go around the rear really quick here. I'm gonna go around the car again here. Show you some other highlights of this beautiful car. This actually, does this have AC? It does have AC. I wonder when the last time that worked. Definitely some vermin lived in here. It's got a little bit of lightweight addition here. Someone tried to Bondo that at one time. That's pretty damn funny. So this is the thing I look out for on these is this whole fender rots on these, and they even rot on the. All right, sorry, my phone cut off there for a second, middle of speaking. Did want to show you a few things here before I raise it up. This is interesting that the buzzer still works on this car. It's most of the time they don't work. Shows this car has definitely been sitting a while, so that works. And most of the time these clocks go bad. I haven't looked to see if it works. Usually you can hear them ticking. That's how you know they work. When the key is off, you'll hear it like tick, tick, tick. And very common for those to go bad. It's really interesting. Look here, the cruise control is actually on that button here. These little climate controls are quite valuable because these middle areas break here, and they just don't make them anymore, and you can't really restore them. And if they're broken, they're broken. So now these break too. These little brake handles, I'm not going to mess with here, but these actually break right here, and they don't make those anymore. So you have to try to find those out broken. Here's your wiper, intermittent wiper. So yeah, this is the definitely just standard US model. Let's go here. So here's the guys, weight a lot, 4560 gross vehicle weight. So let me raise it up now. Sorry about that, I got cut off there. And let's raise it up and look it on the lift and show you what's underneath now. All right, so we'll start here. This is where you start getting some serious problems here. Look at this rust. So it actually goes back underneath. So even if you did change out this quarter panel, you do have that problem. And these just weren't rust proof. There's where that coating is, where the fender actually connects to the car itself, and you have to grind that out. Oh, it's a disaster. I took one of these off fender, and I never did it again because someone expected it for free, pretty much. They wanted a cheap fender. So this molding usually goes bad. This is pretty typical here. This weather stripping comes off like that. They also did some pretty insane weather stripping on this rear lower valance. The rears didn't rust really as bad. You can see here a little bit. It's really not as bad. Let's go around the other side here. So this is pretty common here too, where this was a Colorado car, so someone did drive a little bit, probably in the snow, and look, these lower radiator support areas, that happens quite a bit. And then they got these kind of pretty cool little aftermarket, the grills. These usually break, but they do reproduce these now. The fog light's a little unique on these because they do have this little hooded thing here. I think it was pre-78 maybe did that, and all the European models kept it going all the way through. The US models got rid of that, kind of that little hook thing. Very interesting. 2 horns. I don't know why you need 2, but it's Mercedes for you. Yeah, here's the blinker integrated in the bumper. Let's go around this side here. So again, here this lower valance rusted up, and then there's the vacuum tank for they had a vacuum powered trunk and all that system. So here we go again here. Look at this. This is a fender pretty well. This one didn't really rust the frame itself too much, but you know, when you start getting into this part is welded to the car, so this is a pain to fix, these bolts. So this just being a little extra cooling system going on there for your feet. Going around, you know, this side molding's ripped off on that side, pretty common. Probably just this rusted off. Now getting here, look at that, the lower pan's rusting. Oh, these bushings are pretty normal. These go out. They're a pain in the butt to replace. I went over that in another video. I just threw some temporary rims on this that I'm probably gonna go with the car. These are just some throwaway rims. Here's rusted out. So let's go underneath here and see what we got here on the back side here. So pretty standard. So these older models only had one fuel pump. Later models they put two in because they knew they'd fail. So they did two. And then again, this isn't where if it'll fail, it's when it'll fail. That's interesting too. This is the first model where they did little metal protector around it. The newer models have that plastic piece. A plastic one goes around it, like the 450, even up to the 560. So this is pretty common. Here's actually where the gas. I tried to unhook the hose, and yeah, all the line just broke apart my hand. A little rear differential on this. I think these are 3/4. I think these are 2:7 ratios. These aren't the. I'll have to check. I'm pretty sure the American models had that. Not the best gearing. They definitely weren't very quick. Here's the. I'll doing a video on this. I already took off from the 560. I'll show you how to take off this whole rear end and these axle shafts. You got to kind of remove the axle and remove this little support there, and then there's some bolts right here that kind of connect it to the rear subframe. Pretty straightforward. This is definitely easier to work on than the 560. Looks like someone replaced the muffler at one time. Someone actually put on a real Mercedes muffler. Wow. So we'll go through here. A little bit of cancer going on here, which is, like I said, pretty common. You can actually see the white. So it looks like that was actual rust there. See the white mineral on there. Muffler, quite sizable muffler. There is no catalytic converter on this. These usually are a lot worse shape. This one's actually not really in that bad of shape. It is pretty much junk. But let's go over here in front. Let me move some of these jacks here so we can see what's going on here. Okay, there's some more. You can see the salt came up on that. Someone definitely drove this and parked it. The transmission support, pretty straightforward. This is interesting. Look at this exhaust system. So it actually comes down, and then they have a cross pipe, and then it has a cross pipe, so it comes out of the header, and then a cross pipe for whatever reason, and then they go again. So I don't know if that's to distribute the pressure evenly if something happens. I don't know. Transmission, pretty standard. These things all pretty much leak, and many times when you replace the pan because they get warped and you can't get them to seal right. Let me get underneath here a little bit more. So here's usually all these suspension components, pretty easy to change out. You got your track bar and your dampener, and then your tie rods. Pretty usual to change that out, and also then you got to change out your pitman arm. You got one here too. Pretty fun repair that a DIY can do. This is pretty much a bear to get off though on that side. Another thing is motor mounting, do all that. Surprisingly, it's not leaking that much oil. Underneath here, there's the old radiator, the old AC. Look at this. Whenever the belt removes, guess what? I'm guaranteed it doesn't work. It hasn't worked probably in decades. So, yeah, no air pump on these. There's the oil canister. Change a little. It's actually one of those canisters. Radiator. These radiators are worth a little bit of money because they're brass. I usually get them. I restore them and put them on eBay. They're because they don't make them anymore, and you can buy some Chinese aluminum ones that are fine. But people now, since these cars are a little more valuable, a lot of these original parts people like and want. So yeah, that's kind of the extent of this. I'll probably take the tranny off just for the hell of it. Why not? I mean, it's not that hard. After you start getting off, I got to get the exhaust off anyways to take off the rear end. One thing about these is the rear ends are getting a little valuable because as these got older, people might have drove them. You know, these all leak. and they might have drove them, and also somebody's getting some miles on them. After, you know, about, I'd say 150,000, these rear ends could get a little sloppy, and same with the tranny. Tranny only has 100,000 miles on it. If it was maintained, these really do go quite a long time. Other than that, you know, it's pretty straightforward. There's definitely some cancer there. That's pretty normal because the salt would get right behind here from the wheel, and then the salt would rest on here. And that's great to get all this protection on this. But on the inside, this model, look, they didn't put as much protection on it. But on other models, they put a lot more protection on these rear for the salt and everything. I forget what year they started doing that. And this is a crazy rear end where we got the US made bumper. It's interesting here, this is actually where they're actually pre-drilled for the European bumper. So it's when you pop that out. And the actual other bumper bolt goes in this. So to put the rear to put Euro bumpers on, it's quite easy. You just pretty much just drill that out. It's actually rubber. And then you put your bolts in, and then you have to put your bolts, actually go through the same bolts on the Euro bumper goes on that side. And on the Euro bumper, this valance is all part of the bumper. So you just insert the whole thing back on there, and it's a really cool, clean look. I'm sure you've all seen it. There's a term we say for this. Let's just say it's not OE. So that's all for this walk around. I mean, I'm going to be going through the whole car. I don't think I'm going to do that many videos on anything too important. It's pretty much straightforward. That's funny. You see the paint up in there. It's actually a little better. You know, I'll show some stuff when I take off maybe the tranny and the rear end, just because it's a little different than the 560. And then I'll, you know, I don't know if I'll pull the engine. We'll see. I don't know. It's, but, you know, everything else, I'm going to take off the glass, interior, obviously the center console and the climate control and a lot of the other components like power steering. I might pull the power steering pump. People like those, they rebuild them. AC's junk, radiator rebuild, you know, so there's a lot of good parts from the reuse before this is going to get thrashed. The body's pretty much worthless. Doors, unfortunately, I can never really sell doors for much either, just because there's so many of these around, and even at junkyards, you know, pull-in pays and stuff, you'll see these still, you know, like body parts. These fenders are a little hard to get, but I'd rather almost buy a new one than try to put a used one on a car. So yeah, that's all. I'll walk through the, you know, I'll definitely take off the front bumper and all that, have to get all that stuff off. And those plates on there didn't come with it. Those were just plates I had. So just park it on the street for a day or two. So that's all she wrote. Let's, I'll go through it here in a couple weeks. Hopefully have this done. And I guess I did want to show a few things. People wanted to see some of the decorations in Butch's garage. So I'll take some photos showing some interesting aspects. I do actually keep all the, quite a few of these grills that all the cars I've taken apart. I must have another 20 of these laying around up in the attic. And then I'll just take some stills of showing some funny things I've collected over the years, going to auctions, and Butch is out. See you in a bit. Bye.